Alexandra Ordaz, and she just signed with NMSU D1 school. Real big thing, coming out of San Elizario. Um, let's jump right into it. I know this was kind of a tricky process for you. You were really anxious to get a college to sign you. We talked a little bit, you know, early in the year in track, and then kind of midway too. Um, Talk to us about this process. Was it really hard to stay patient? And also, what led to you picking NMSU?
Yeah, so it was really hard for me. I wanted to make sure I was doing the right decision for me because
Hmm.
I didn't really care about anybody else other than myself. And I had like a bunch of schools come at me like at once. So that was very stressful for me because like I said, I wanted to make it easy for me and have an environment just like Sunny.
We talk about, you mentioned the environment that you have there at Sanelli. I'm personally, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but I absolutely love the community out there. You guys are always so positive. It's such a family vibe out there. What was it specifically about NMSU that you felt had very similar characteristics, or it was very similar to what you have there at Sanelli?
When I went on my visit to NMSU, Coach McLean had already told me some of it because he went to NMSU.
Right.
So I kind of already knew that everybody was like friends with each other and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
once I met the team, like they made me feel like I've known them for years. So
Hmm.
that really stood out to me, and we basically just like bonded super fast, just like here at San Eli, and that's what led to my decision.
Awesome. And I did get to talk to your coaches briefly before this, and throughout the season a whole lot. We talked a lot about your progression, but one of the big things, was your performance there at Texas Distance Festival. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that was the performance that Coach Rath really saw what your potential was. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
About the race?
About the race, and if you agree, that that is where Coach Rath was kind of put you on his list of athletes that he wanted to get.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with you. As soon as I finished my race, he instantly like sent me a request on Instagram. And then it took a few like weeks for him to like message me and stuff like that. But he did mention to me that Coach McLean had talked to him about me and that my race at TDF is what really stood out to him.
It goes without saying, and I think it's a very big part of what El Paso athletes should be striving to do now, which is, competing out of town, not just, in some of these big meets that you see like in Albuquerque, Tucson, uh, but TDF is the distance festival in Texas. It's this big thing, and I was lucky enough to go there for the first time last year, and it's insane. And pretty much everybody that goes there PRs for the most part. But what I want to talk about is your progression from track and cross country from last year to this year. Before we get into that, you mentioned to me mid-season that you weren't happy with some of the performances that you had, and not necessarily that they were bad, but that you were very close to achieving some goals, and you weren't necessarily happy falling short, coming that close and not getting it. Talk to us a little bit about your motivation from that and how you feel you were able to accomplish what you accomplished this year.
Yeah, well, at the end of cross country season, I didn't achieve my goal. So throughout that whole season, cross country, all I had in my mind was just how that made me felt. And when track season started, I just went with it and I wasn't scared of it anymore.
You definitely were, in my opinion, one of the female standouts of the season. Looking back at some of your records, 2022 cross country season, you're running high 22s. Uh, Even though you fell short of your goal, last year in cross country in 2023, you still were low 20s, which you hit at NXR, which is a very difficult course.
Mhm.
Um, which I think is good to mention because, I mean, you're looking at close to, 2 minutes cut down in time, which is extremely impressive. But what you did in track was, I think, probably what, in my opinion, should be something that is a very high note. And you only ran the 8 this year, your senior year. I don't think you ran it your junior year, but it's still a really good time of 2:26. In the mile in 2023, you ran a 5:56 at district. Fast forward a year, you're running 5:30s, which is huge. Anytime you start running 5:30s, sub 5:30s as a girl, it's very impressive. But what I thought was most impressive was your 3,200 time, which in 2023 you ran a 13-minute low, like right above 13 minutes. And then, fast forward a year, boom, you're running sub 12. 11:51 is your PR, and that was also at TDF.
Yeah.
Um, what can you say besides, you had the motivation? What was different about you within this year that you can say really helped you get to that time? Because that's a huge jump.
I had people that believed in me, and they made me realize that I should believe in myself, and I didn't want to let them down.
And you gotta give me a little bit more than that. And not that your answer was bad, okay, but what was there different about training, mindset? Did you change your diet, or did you make sure that you're getting your good sleep? Tell me those kind of details.
Yes, I was sleeping from 8 to 10 hours a day daily. I started eating 3 meals a day with snack because before I only had like two, which I saw a really big change in me after that. And then I started like working out hard too. I would tend to work out by myself since I didn't really have a team, and my
Right,
only
right.
teammate sometimes wasn't there for me to help me achieve my goal pace times. So I
Hmm.
had to do that myself. So I think that really helped me as well.
Well, you certainly looked a lot more motivated in track. It was like I don't know, you unleashed a Sanelli animal, and it was pretty fun to watch. Um, but what can you say, now knowing what you're capable of, and especially, going back to 2023 cross country season where you came up short in your words, what is the biggest lesson that you can take from, both these seasons, track and cross country, and what's the biggest lesson you can take from that for yourself?
To not give up because, like I said, I fell off short of my goal, and I know it was my fault because I gave up. I'll admit it, I did give up, and that was horrible. Oh, I think I'll never forgive myself for that.
Well, you might not be able to forgive yourself, but you can certainly feel like you redeemed yourself. And I would have to, based on your words, it I think we're always our own worst critic when it comes to performance. Maybe your coaches felt differently, and you have great coaches who do an incredible job of, doing what they do with you guys. Um, but that's pretty amazing in itself. And moving forward, now you're getting to move forward with a D1 school. Does that kind of intimidate you a little bit? Because, that's always a point of discussion, when I talk to you guys about signing with schools. Is D1 more important? Is D2 more important? But you're lucky enough to be signing with a D1 school. Does that intimidate you a little bit, knowing what level of competition you're going to have?
It does, but I know what I'm getting myself into, and I'm ready to be like challenged. I want to work towards the top.
I like it. I like it. And you talked to me a lot about some of your goals in track. Do you feel like you met those goals in track?
No.
No? As good as
No,
you did, you're still not satisfied?
no.
Okay. Well, moving into college, what are some of your goals? What are some of the things that you're hoping to achieve in college that you know you're capable of?
Well, definitely going um close to a 5 slow for the mile
Hmm.
and uh maybe a high 10 for the 32. I know it's a 3,000, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
might, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And what about all of this process, if anything, was there anything that surprised you about, the decision-making process and choosing, NMSU or um, some of the other things that coaches talk to you about for their programs? Was there anything that surprised you?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, Coach McLean had told me some things about Coach Rath and how his experience was. So I'm looking forward to having the same exact thing as he did.
Awesome. And is this whole process kind of what you expected? Did you feel like NMSU was going to be the landing point?
No, I was set like on UTEP, but then some things happened. So
Just didn't work
like,
out.
yeah.
Awesome. And like we were kind of talking before the interview, I think it's so important for someone in your demographic, especially out of Sun Valley, where, money might be a little bit more tight than people are accustomed to. Um, to be getting the privilege to run where you are is a big thing. What would be one tip? And you don't have to limit it to one tip. You can name two or three, but what is the one bit of advice you would give future female Sanelli runners or any runner in general from your demographic of what they need to do to put themselves in a position to achieve what you've worked really hard for?
Mhm. I would say that hard work does pay off, and sometimes, well, hard work beats talent.
Awesome. And you got anything other in terms of, the decision-making process that you think that can help these girls make the right choice?
Yes. Go where you want to, not where your parents tell you to, where your coaches tell you to, or even if your friends tell you that they're going here and they want you to go there. But do it for yourself because in the long run, it's gonna affect your choice.
Awesome, awesome. Well, uh, you're one person that I was really excited to hear about any sort of signing news. So congratulations. I'm very familiar with that program out there through Coach McLean, and they have a great program. So I'm very excited to see what you do, and I know you'll definitely make the San Alley community proud, and you'll definitely make Paso proud. So congratulations, and we look forward to maybe one day we'll have another interview, and you can kind of tell me about what college running is like. So congratulations.
Thank you.